Hello again. Um, got a little time to play Vital Shell this week, so checked out the weekly challenge. I got a pretty good run. It's a pretty interesting build, so figured I'd make another video. Challenge this week is Meteor, Dark Bargain, Mortal Wounds, Cold Blood. So you'll see here it sees the infinite rerolls. In reality, though, you have no rerolls because the downside is you get a time penalty. So rerolling's pretty bad. So usually I don't like this affix for that reason. Um, if you're going for like the best time ever, it's really annoying because you basically don't have rerolls. But if you're just going for like a decent run, just playing to have some fun, I think it's actually a pretty cool affix because it forces you into using some non-meta builds, go completely optimal just because it's like so RNG to get the best build off the ground. But I picked Strike or Soul River first. I was just restarting over and over again until I got Soul River first because it's just the best heavy weapon. It'll go a lot faster with that weapon over any other one because of its interaction with Induration, which we also go. The first shell protocol I picked was Strike Reflex. I like Strike Reflex with a couple different specials. It's nice with Blood Temple, because it just keeps you healthy. It just feels a lot safer. In a normal run, the Strike Reflex gives you additional Blood Temple stacks, but since we have Mortal Wounds this week, you get a stack of Mortal Wounds every time you press Blood Temple. So it doesn't actually really give you more stacks. It kind of just makes the game feel a little more safe. But you'll see here, we didn't pick Blood Temple. We didn't get the option. But we did pick Missile Circus, which I think is probably the second best special if you pair it with Strike Reflex. It's a lot of projectiles, it's a lot of damage. And the other thing I don't get in this run that you usually want in a really good run is Assurance. And I think with Strike Reflex and Missile Circus, you just have so many extra bullets, it's kind of like a mini Assurance. So it's pretty good. The other thing, the Cold Blood gives all your weapons a 3.0 crit modifier, so crit's like especially good. The Mortal Wounds, which I talked about a little bit, just makes it so the run's a little more scary. You can't take too many hits or you're gonna die. But for the most part, it's kind of just a regular run where you don't really get rerolls. Here, I don't think any of these are very good options, but please alright. Especially early on, it could do quite a bit of damage. There, I don't think I meant to double boost. I meant to go back and forth with the boost on top of the boss for the damage, but there's the last purple I need for the Induration. Now my Soul River is going to do quite a bit more damage. It every time Soul River shoots, it fires 3 bullets, and each of those 3 bullets, if they crit, will proc Induration. The damage of that Induration depends on the full damage of the weapon, not the damage of that individual bullet. So Induration is basically 3 times as good on Soul River as it is on another weapon. The other side effects, since we're playing a Strike Reflex build, Soul River has like a really fast fire rate because it throws out 3 projectiles for each shot. Each of those can crit, and each of those crits can proc your Strike Reflex, so it's really good. Just picking generic damage, picked up 2 range there. Some range is nice. It's not really like super necessary, but especially on Meteor, when you don't have like Assurance, the Scythe, I think it's called World Eater, his like starting weapon. Yeah, it's called World Eater. The starting weapon is actually pretty good, like wave clear, because it has infinite pierce, and the damage on it's really, really high. You'll see here I'm deciding what to do with my second gems. Oh, I also picked up the Iron Maw. I like Iron Maw quite a bit for a lot of the same reasons I like Soul River. It doesn't fire multiple bullets per shot, but its fire rate is super high. So each of those can like life steal. They can proc the strike reflex that we're running. But it's not a particularly high damage weapon. So you'll see there, I picked up the Angel Stone and I put it on my World Eater, and I'm building towards Fragmentation. Fragmentation's really nice for a couple different reasons. This week, since you have no rerolls, unless you want to take a time penalty, Fragmentation's the easiest to build. You're more or less, well, you're not guaranteed, but you have like a 90% chance to complete it without using any rerolls. Because the first 3 choices are guaranteed. You're always guaranteed to be able to pick 3 different gem colors. So it's just the 4th. If the only options you get are 3 gem colors you already have, then you wouldn't be able to put the fragmentation on it. But you could always delay it for another wave, which is usually pretty bad, but in a run like this I probably would delay it. But spoiler, I don't have to delay it, which is nice. But I like the fragmentation on the World Eater, because it just makes the wave like really big. This weapon does like so much damage. It basically one-shot stuff regardless of splitting up the different shots with fragmentation. So you just get a nice wide arc that'll clear out waves really well once you get the fragmentation fully built on it. And you'll see I'm just basically just running around, trying not to take too many hits to stack up the Mortal Wounds hits. By this point I have enough like crit and enough projectiles going out that I can more or less spam the Missile Circus. I take my foot off the pedal a couple times just to make sure I don't fully run out of charges, because you want to have 3 or 4 charges going into a boss wave, because you can just spam them out immediately, and then once the boss spawns, the rockets will lock on and all hit the boss. So you get a little bit of like pre-fire damage on the boss, which is nice. I picked the Death Stone just because it's the most stats, going for fragmentation. And you can see my damage is pretty high. Like the Missile Circus it's a pretty good special, especially when you get strike reflex. So it's pretty good. And the Cold Blood will buff it too if you're like the missiles can crit. They'll do 3x damage, whereas normally the normal force crit multiplier is like 1.5 or something. It's pretty low. So the Cold Blood buff to that is pretty good. And pick up another range pro. Oh, I go for the crit. All these are kind of whatever. The Demolisher is kind of nice. It's 50% force damage for the Missile Circus, which is like the majority of my damage right now. And then the World Eater is also force damage, so it's just 50% damage. I think the minus impact radius is really whatever. I think impact radius is tuned to be like really low in this game in general, so you're not taking too big of a loss. Here I'm deciding what to do with my final resonance. I think I was debating putting the white gem on there and going for Fulguration on my Iron Maw to potentially get some fire damage, maybe skip the last boss's second phase. But I think with that being my only source of burn damage, I guess along with the Soul River potency, I don't think I'd have nearly enough burn damage to be able to skip the second phase. So I just opt for the gem that has the most stats there. Pick the tier 3 red gem. But the build's pretty much complete at this point. Pretty straightforward. You have long-range weapons outside of the World Eater, which is pretty nice, and then anything that gets close will just get chopped down by that World Eater. I'm going to pick the Lightstone just because the healing is nice for a little bit extra safety. You can just take random hits. It's nice to be able to heal it back up. Here, I'm debating between the Angel Stone, just committing to the Purification, or going for the crit. I decided the crit's a little bit better. It sets me up to take Fragmentation on the last gem pick if I decide to, because Fragmentation it's just an alright resonance in general on any weapon. But I don't actually end up going Fragmentation. I end up going Purification. I don't remember if the last gem is another Lightstone. I think it is. So it's just nice to have 2 Lightstones for the double healing in case the last boss strucks me with something. It's nice to have a little bit of a safety net. I don't think any resonance I could build on my Iron Maw would be like a significant DPS increase compared to the Purification. Because the Purification on its own, it's a pretty okay damage increase as well. So, it's a good resonance in general. We got the last wave going. We just have the last boss left. We're going to pick up the Lightstone here, like I said. I got the Purification. So it'll just heal me a little bit when I reload, and then also blast the boss with like a beam of light every time it reloads too. And this boss can burst you down like crazy, so it's nice to have the extra range to be able to back it out. Then we got to end up with the run that's under 8 minutes, which I think is a pretty good time, especially for the kind of haphazard build I had going there. So that was a fun run. Like I said, I think the Dark Bargain affix is pretty frustrating if you're trying to go for like the best time possible, but it's pretty fun affix to you just embrace it and just get a run going. But yep, hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you later.